Welcome to Radio FM 88, Australia, of course. We're broadcasting from the studios in Brisbane, Australia. Our co-host is in the UK, in the Northern Hemisphere. They're going through a bit of a summer blitz there of sunshine.
Ooh.
So they're not heading off to the Mediterranean. They're all staying home for the first time in ages. And without further ado, now I'm not only going to introduce you to my co-host, but our guest is around the corner in Brisbane, in an area called Redlands. And I had the opportunity of going and meeting up with our co-host, and for what I believe is a fantastic experience for anyone who's never, ever, ever been involved in horses. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Priti, and then we'll carry on with the show with our guest.
Hello, Jeff. Hello, you're absolutely right. We are going through the scorchers these last few days. We've been hitting the great heights, which you wouldn't probably appreciate as being such great heights, but knocking bomb 30 degrees, which is like super. And what is going on? So we've been kind of simmering in the 25 and 26, and oh my God, it's getting up to 30 something. Sweltering. And of course, yesterday we had an eclipse that I know you're laughing because 30 is like, what are you talking about? You know, got to put your coat on and everything in Australia, but not here, mate. Everything comes off. Yesterday we had an eclipse, and a huge fanfare for the eclipse. And today I've woken up in a very different mood. I think it's absolutely time each and every one of us started to follow our dreams. What's in your heart? Let's get on with it. Let's stop messing around and stop all this. And with that, I do understand that Judy has been working very heart-centered with horses, and she's been living her dream. So we're not dreaming the dream, we're living it. So oh look, there you are. Look at the beautifuls. What are their names? Good morning, good evening, and everything. Good everything to you. Welcome, Judy.
Good evening. Oh, thank you so much for having me. Yes, my two boys. On my left side is Luki, and on the right side is Donnie. They're related.
Luki and Donnie.
Yes, they're uncle and nephew.
So very good. They look very similar. Yes. And tell me, what do you do with them? What's the experience someone could have? I'm not a horsey person. I've not been in connection with horses. I have nothing to do with them, but I'm quite happy to jump on an aeroplane and see what's going on down under. Tell me more.
Okay. Well, okay, first of all, this is quite new for me still. I'm still trying to find exactly how my vision is going to sort of come to life. Ultimately, I think what we're all sort of getting wrong is that we're trying to do a lot of things. You know, we're trying to change who we are. We're trying to pick up new practices, trying to, have this new experience with horses, with yoga, with meditation, with dance, with whatever. There's a constant sort of, what do I do now to change, to improve, to get better? And I want to focus on stop doing and learn to be. So about stillness, about, leaving all of this and just coming back to the heart, coming back to right now. And horses have this amazing, incredible gift of helping us sort of come back to the present moment, and they do something with our body, with our nervous system, where they help us let go and breathe again. That's why people have this experience when they're with horses. They have this sudden letdown and they start crying or laughing. Yeah. So they're very powerful.
So they're the kind of right here, right now.
That's it. Yeah.
The holy instance, as would be said in the Course in Miracles, for instance,
Yes,
and that time doesn't exist.
That's right. Exactly.
So we can, time is a man-made concept, and horses just live, they just be.
That's it.
And we can join them in that same space.
Yeah.
I'm already there.
Yeah.
So what happens when somebody comes to your, I'm going to call it a farm, but comes to your place and you introduce them to the horses? How does that happen, and what goes on?
So initially, we sort of sit down and I try and connect with a client first, and we sort of allow the horses to come to us. And then I just see where they're at. Depending on the level of consciousness and, where their attention is, I try and work with them on their level. So if it's either about, if they're very identified, then that's where we sort of start to work. If they are already quite aware, then we try and, work at that consciousness level. And the horses, they help. The horses are a very quiet sort of, how can I say? It's always so different. They react differently to everyone. And they always show me where the person is at. So I use them to figure out who I'm with and where they are at. Sometimes I try and understand someone, and then the horses get quite tense, for example. And then I realize they don't want to really communicate with me. What they want is just the closeness to the horse. So then I switch and I go, okay, why don't we just go to the horses and, you can brush them and just hang out with them or give them treats. And the client completely changes, lights up, and the horses relax. And then I know that's what they came to do. That's what they needed in that moment, for example.
So they just needed the connection.
The client, sometimes, yes, that's all. That's what they need in that moment. Yeah. So the horses,
you must have.
They help me.
You must have come across many, many different people. Oh, it's the echo. It's the it's the time today.
Yeah, not that many. Well, my work is very new. So I started this myself I worked on myself with my horses back in 2021. That's when I sort of, that's when I myself woke up, and that's when I started doing the work without knowing I was doing it. And it was only in 2025 that this vision hit me that I have to do this. And so I spent 2025 studying and learning about it, and then started offering it only this year. So it's quite new, and I'm still trying to figure out where my place is and how I can best help people. So it's evolving.
Excellent. And do the horses help you with this?
With the work, you mean, or on a personal level?
Yeah. How are they? How are they a big part of the equation?
They are.
What's their contribution? Because they must be mediating in some way.
Oh, definitely.
To help you. Yeah. So what happens?
They help ground us. They regulate us. So they regulate our nervous system. They help us, step out of survival mode, help us come back into the parasympathetic nervous system. Their heart frequency interacts with ours. So without us even knowing, if we're around the horse and we're stressed or we're anxious, which happens, when we do this work, or we try and, have a new experience, their heart, their calmness directly affects ours. So their calm heartbeat will slow down our heartbeat, and we sort of, connect without realizing. So that's why when people come, and sometimes they can just sit with me. I have that with friends. When friends come and sit with me, we just sit there. And after after 10, 15 minutes, there's this huge letdown where there's just this exhale and everything relaxes, and people will be like, oh, I'm so relaxed. I'm so happy. Just being in nature, just being around the horses. So without having to do anything, that is the most profound change, that instant reset of your entire system.
I can see here a picture of Jeff. He's flashed it up a couple of times now. So, Jeff, you went to Judy's place relatively recently, didn't you? And what was your experience like?
We were lucky. Well, we had a guest previously, Shemaine, who's the one who talks to animals, and she mentioned after we finished the show that she was going to catch up with us. Judy's got horses, and I said, "Oh, hello, can I come along?" So she said, "I'll talk to Judy." And anyway, so things were set up, and so it was a Saturday afternoon. Got there at 12 o'clock. We sat and we walked in and went into the paddock with the 2 Arabian horses, and with chairs all set up. The 3 of us just sat there, and then it was quite interesting because I just sort of glanced over and just see what these 2 horses were up to. I mean, they gave us space, mind you. I mean, they Dot and bloody Judy. I mean, they're so affectionate. It's quite funny, really. But anyway, they stood their ground, and then Shemaine had a bag, and then one of them decided that it wanted to discover what was inside that bag. So they quite mischievous. Yeah. Yes. So it was really they came in their own time. They just come along, and then they're just like, look, they're actually dogs on big extension legs. You know, they're really they just you could just wait for them to better hop in your lap. Really, that's the type of luring type of. You wouldn't call them an animal. You call them family. You know. So next second they come in behind you. They come in over the back of your shoulder there, and they just they give them a sniff, and you know, you don't get a lick quite graciously as Judy would get, but you know, they're coming around. Once they come in from behind, they've got you, haven't they? And then they bloody sense you, they smell you. Anyway, the bottom line is that they're really quite affectionate, and they just and at one stage there they left us and went off into a corner.
Right.
Because the 3 of us were obviously having a discussion, and they didn't want to be part of it, or whatever it was. Right. But I noticed that the horses in the other paddocks were coming over to the fence, you know, closest to us, to just observe and watch what's going on. And then the 3 of us stood up, and the next second the horses came back over. And from being one where they just wanted to, you know, it's like having a dog. You know, when you're watching TV, the next second this buddy jumped on the bloody couch and it's taken over the couch, you know, or you're going to go to bed. Next thing it's in the bloody same bed as you. These horses are the same thing. They're really quite, you know, they really are committed to the relationship with the humans, you know. So,
wow.
No, it was a very enjoyable time. I mean, for 4.5 hours, it was really great. But not only did we have the horses, I mean, we were in pastoral areas there with other horses, but you know, we got kangaroos. There was a mob of kangaroos there, and wallabies. We had the galahs there. We had the kookaburras, the butcher birds, you know, the cockatoos. I mean, it was all going off. It was just a great place to be on a Saturday afternoon, and it was sunny. It was really nice.
So you were immersed in great Australian nature. That this is it. This is the land. These are the animals. These are the plants, and we're just a part of that. We're not separate from it. And you kind of immerse yourself in it. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. I think Judy would actually would confirm what I've said, in the sense that we've had a lot of rain. It's abnormal to have rain because we normally get the rain in the cyclone season, which is, you know, December, January, February. But we've had rain right through to July. It's come through, and so the paddocks were really rich in terms of a lot of grass. And so the greenery was quite substantial, whereas in the past, you know, you come in there and it'd be quite barren, you know, and then you have to bring in the hay and other forms of feed, where there's plenty of feed there, and it's the greenery that really enlightens it. I mean, it's when you go to the UK, you know, you go into Somerset or you go into Devon, you know, where you got plenty of rain there. It's just that rich greenery that comes out, not only the grass, but it's the hedgerows and everything like that. It's really quite spectacular, you know, England in that regard. Yeah, so yeah, Mount Cotton, Redland Bay, Carbrook is where Judy's got the horses. It's a really great spot. So people who are watching the show, if you have the opportunity to come up to Southeast Queensland, I suggest you actually get hold of Judy well beforehand so you can set up a time. And so, you know, she brought the chairs and put them out in the field. So for Charmaine, myself and Judy, it was just natural for us to go there. And I think that the horses knew Judy, and so, you know, they could trust that if Judy let us come in, that we must be good. So, but they kept their distance, but they were pretty inquisitive to find out what was inside that bloody bag that Charmaine's got. So that's yeah.
And she had feathers in her hair, which they were also so interested in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that with you, or was that another time I was with her?
Yeah, I would have been with her.
Feathers. Was that another time?
Oh, she had feathers on there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, so your question to you, Priti, would be, it was a great afternoon, and no question about it. And yeah, one with nature, and of course the horses just made it. I mean, I got next door neighbour, and their two dogs come over to my place. I mean, the greyhound is just an adorable. It's just so demure, and it's just like it just wants to be with you all the time. It just follows you around, and these horses are the same. It's just, as I said, it's just like a dog with extension legs on it. But fantastic.
Mm.
Yeah.
I can't take him in the house, otherwise I would.
Yeah.
And would you be able to describe their personalities? Are they very different characters, or are they quite similar?
Yes, no, they're very different. Yes, so Luki, he's 9 years old. He's my heart horse. He is he's stubborn. He is also very quite shy to start with. So he takes his time to get to know someone. He's very much like a one-person kind of horse. So I'm his life.
Hey, you're the go-to girl.
And he's very sensitive, very, very sensitive, very in tune. He knows you before you know yourself. Like, he knows how I feel before I know how I feel when I come to him in the morning. He holds a grudge if I'm late with his food, or I go away on holidays and I come back. He's really mad at me. And he shows it by sort of swishing me with his tail or bumping me with his belly. Like, he'll act out like that, which is really cute. He's also quite concerned. So he will always look to me for guidance to make sure we're okay. Big heart, huge heart. He saved me from a snake once. I was walking him and he just stopped. And I'm not someone who forces my horses to do anything. I always make sure I communicate with them and make sure I know why they're not doing something. So I never think they're misbehaving. I'm always aware that if they're not doing something, there's a reason. They're not just being naughty. So he stopped and I was like, come on, let's go. And he just would not move. And he just put his head up and really dug his feet in. And I'm like, what are you doing? This is so weird. And I was just like, come on. And I was like trying to just gently lead him. And I look forward and there's this big python just like slithering across the path. I would have stepped right on it. I didn't see it. And then once it was gone, he walked with me again. So
traffic control.
Yes, he's very tuned in. Donnie is he loves people. He loves everyone. He's sort of like, I always say that he has ADHD. He's that sort of horse. You're like, oh, what's this? Oh, what's that? And he wants to know everything. He wants to be in everyone's space. He has no personal, there's no personal space in his life. He'll be right in your face all over you. He'll, nibble everything. He's fun. He wants to be the center of everything. He wants to be a part of everything. He wants to play. He's curious. He is quite dorky. He'll trip over his own feet. What else? Also very.
So you've got like the introvert and the extrovert in the horse world.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you can say that. Yeah, they're very different.
And tell me, why have you called your ensemble Lead with Love? How does that
Lead with Love? It's
pan a little out? How does that integrate within the whole process?
Yes, so it's a bit of play on the words, lead with love, like if you're leading your horse, right? But also lead with love. I want people to stop leading with their mind, leading with thought, trying to think themselves out of whatever, and trying to think they have to fix their life, and stepping out of that and just leading with love, coming back to their heart. So always my motto in life basically is, what would love do? That's basically it. So I want people to get back in touch with who they truly are and not be so lost in life, so lost in mind and the doing, coming back to being. Yeah.
And is that one of the reasons why you let the horses come to the person, so that when they're ready to be, the horses will show up?
Yes. Yeah. So I believe in connection above anything. When it comes to life, people, trying to help people, healing, anything really, it's connection and safety that is most important. And that's not just for my clients, that's for my horses as well. I need them to trust me. I need them to know that our connection is number one, so that there's safety. And so I don't push anything on them. I don't try and force them. I allow them to take their time to come and to then share that bond, that connection, that safety with me and the client. If I were to force them, they would tighten up, they would tense up, and we would all feel that. And then that loses sort of the magic is gone then,
But that's the same of humans as well. When you first meet humans, if you try and push anything on somebody else,
that's right,
there is a natural resistance.
That's right. Yes.
Wow. And it brings that to the fore then. Oh, look.
Yes, that's Luki. Yeah. My baby.
Yeah. Okay, so that's Luki, the stubborn, introverted. He didn't look very introverted there. So you could just while away 4.5 hours without even realizing. So timeless. It becomes timeless. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. So we're getting there. Wow. You got a great job, girl.
Yeah. Yes.
Everyone will want to turn up and be at your place, I'd imagine.
Yeah. I have this whole new vision that I'm trying to bring to life.
Oh, yes, please. Let's hear it.
Obviously now I'm doing one-on-one, and I'm realizing that that's not really the answer. I'm starting to realize that what we really need is a tribe, community. And I'm wanting to build a space for everyone, but like specifically that where I can help is for women to come together to heal or find themselves in a group, where they are seen, where they can reflect and also see that other people are exactly the same, that we're all in one way or another going through the same thing, living the same life, having the same human experience in different ways. And we all need that. We need that safety to really heal the body, to come back into connection. And I can't do that on my own. I'm starting to realize, talking to all these people, we need community. We need bigger gathering, and not just a place where you go to have an experience. So not like I'm facilitating, this group where people come to meditate or to do yoga or to do whatever, and they have this experience and then they go home into their life, right? Where nothing changes or where it's same old.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be a space where, there's not like a leader or teacher, but where we're all equal, and a space that becomes almost like a home away from home, that is accessible more than just, once a week, or once in like for an hour, but that's more communal, that's more open, that's more available, where we can really come into connection and feel like we belong. I think that is so important, that is so lost in this world. So yes, that's sort of like my vision now, that I need to create a space where people can go to feel safe, and where they can be themselves. They don't have to change. They're not judged. They don't have to perform. They don't have to, talk about their past or be, I don't know, injured enough to be there. You can just show up just exactly the way you are. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to perform. Nothing has to happen. You can just be. You can just show up, and just being is enough.
And with that experience, they could possibly bring that back into that menagerie of worlds where we are performing and we are with our masks on, and
Yes.
not actually being at home with being ourselves, because we've got a job to do. We've got a role to fulfill.
Yes.
We're caught up in, call it the matrix, but caught up in the imagery.
Yeah.
So get rid of the image and get back to being real. And once you've touched being real, then hopefully that permeates so much so that you can't, that it dissolves, the illusion of the illusion disappears.
Yes, exactly.
Even if there's many a person that would talk about Maya, that we are living in an illusion, but let's just stick with where we're at now, because we've got layers of onions going on here.
Yes.
Wow.
It's like have the awareness of, know who you are, what you are, and then go and wear your mask and know you're wearing it, and live your life, play your character, but know you're playing it. It makes it lighter, rather than being lost in it or drowning in it.
Yeah. It's interesting that you're focusing at the moment on women. What's drawn you there?
I think because I am a woman, I feel like I can have that circle of women. I would also love for a man to do the same thing for men, to have a men's circle, a men's group. So I'd love to find someone who does what I do, but who is a man. And, we can combine forces, children as well. So, it doesn't just stop with women. Like I want everyone, obviously. I want this to reach everyone. But I think my role, I don't know if I could facilitate this for men. I don't know how that would go.
Because women are naturally known to be the beers in the world, and the men the doers in the world. Without wanting to be black and white about it, women be, men do. But but inside the being, women do, and inside the doing, men be. So there's a kind of yin and yang going on there.
That's right.
I think it's all perfectly feasible, wouldn't you?
I hope so. Yeah, I think so. Definitely manifesting it. Yeah.
Oh, good one. So there could be somebody out there listening that's hooking into the whole idea of men being just as well as women being.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who knows, together you can do it.
Yes.
And create this whole new environment that you're talking about of you just be. There isn't anything more to do.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, you know the
So
old
we could
story,
stop.
of course. The old story, you know, if you have a dog, it's a chick magnet. And if, in Judy's case, you have a horse, and it's a bloody
Man magnet.
yeah.
Oh God.
Judy, did you know you were creating man magnets?
No, I'm not, please.
Well, that would biologically be inherently what you're designed to do.
Yeah, without wanting this to sound inappropriate, I think it's more like a child magnet. I think
so we're going into the genderless version of it.
Yeah, I think children are very drawn to the horses. Actually, I've noticed that. I'm yet to work with children. I'm sort of a bit careful with that still, but I'm starting to realize that it could really help children to have that space where they can interact with the horses. And I want to start that as well. I think all they need is to be around them, to be allowed to touch them and brush them and lead them around. I think it's so healing. I know it was for me when I was little. That's sort of what saved me when I was young. My childhood wasn't the best, and I had these horses, and they were everything to me.
Wow.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
so was this your first interaction with horses when you were very, very young? I mean, I've had no interaction with horses. Oh, yes, I did once upon a time. Yeah, that was not great, but none the mind. So
Well,
tell us about your lifelong story with horses then.
Was that
So
the
these are
rocking
not
horse?
your
Is that the rocking horse down at the bloody down the piers down at the local beaches, mate? Is that where you're riding?
wooden horse.
Yeah.
A wooden horse.
I had one of them in Troy.
Did you? Okay.
So you've got a lifelong, a lifelong relationship with the horses then. That goes back to what, when you're 5 years old or younger? Tell us.
Yeah, tell the story. It's a really good story, Judy, isn't it?
Yeah. So my mum said that I've loved horses ever since I was born. I was always drawn to all animals, but especially horses. I don't have that memory anymore, but I wanted all the stuffed animal horses. I wanted the posters, the books, the everything, the bed sheets, everything had to be horses. But it wasn't until I was about 10 that we moved to another area, and we lived near these fields, and across the fields there was an Arabian stud farm, and this is in Germany. And I begged my mom to let me go there, and like help out. And I just wanted to be around them. I never wanted to ride them or anything. I just wanted to be with them and interact with them. So she spoke to the owner, and the owner actually let me help out. So I fed them. I, took them into the field and brought them back in, and I was able to just hang out with them. So for a few years, I built a very strong bond, especially with one mare. Her name was Medina. So I grew up in a family where there wasn't a lot of, I'm going to say this nicely, there wasn't a lot of love or attention, and a lot of bullying at school. So like I felt like I had no safety. I had no, what do you call it? No care, I felt quite lonely as a child. And so I would always just escape and go to these horses, to these Arabian horses, and especially Medina. That's like the one sort of, that one time in my life, the one space, the one place in my life where I felt I belonged, where I felt seen, where I felt like I could breathe and just be myself and be happy. And then eventually I moved away. I lived in Lebanon for a while. And then from Lebanon, I came to Australia. And when was it? In 2000 and... when did I get these boys? 20, I can't even remember now. Well, at one point I was able to have horses, and I said, okay, I'm gonna try and find the bloodline of Medina back in Germany. I mean, what are the odds? But I'm just gonna look, right? And I found a breeder in Jimboomba who bred with that bloodline. And they actually had a half sister of Medina standing in their paddock. They looked exactly the same. It was a spitting image of Medina. And so Luki and Donnie are her bloodline.
Wow.
Yes. And there's this one story that I think that had me believing like that there was something bigger than us. So back in Germany, I had a horrific day at school, just got home, threw my bag, grabbed my bike, and just rode to the horses. And I was crying, and I was sobbing, and I was trying to get to Medina to, cry against her. And usually what horses do is they're sort of like, like, ugh, stop being annoying human, like, let me eat, like, get on, like, stop with your nonsense. That's how horses usually are. They're very like, oh, I'm just doing my thing, like, leave me alone type of thing. And that day, Medina knew that there was something, that I was really not well and I needed her. And she saw me coming and she lifted her head and she started walking towards me. And when we got together, she put her head against my chest and just stayed there and let me cry until I was done crying. Which is this, it was a moment, I mean, I was maybe 11. That was a moment that it felt like back then it was so significant, like it saved my life. It gave me hope. It did something. It gave me strength to keep going. So then fast forward, now we're back in Australia and I've got my two boys, who are Medina's bloodline. And again, I was going through a very, very tough time. And I remember I woke up at night, middle of the night, couldn't sleep. I was crying. I was in so much pain. And I went outside into the paddock to find my boys, to just hold them and feel better. And it was pitch black and I was crying and I couldn't find them. And then I just sort of collapsed in the paddock on the ground, just crying. And then I heard the footsteps from them coming close. And then Luki came and he grabbed me by my shirt and he pulled me up. And I stood up in front of him and he took his head and he put it against my chest, the same way Medina did all those years ago. And he just stood there and let me cry. And when that happened, something in me just went like, there's like, it's just, you can't explain it, it just made me feel like there's something bigger there, and there's a connection. There is something that we can't explain, that we can't really put words to. And again, that gave me so much strength.
Sounds like a massive opening up.
Yeah.
And being held. Life's got your back. Yeah.
Just a reminder. Yeah. Yeah. So these horses, they mean everything to me. Yeah.
Yeah. And a remarkable story that you managed to find Medina's bloodline.
Yes. Yeah.
In two different continents.
Yes. Yeah.
So is Medina the great-great-grandmother, or where is she in the kind of human scale of things between Luki and Medina?
God, I can't really tell you. I'd have to look at it again. It's a bit more complicated. I think it is. So the half sister, they had the same father. So with the stallions, they freeze the sperm. So that's why this is possible. With the boys, I think it would have been from the dad's side. Can't tell you.
So you don't know how many generations are in between them, but it doesn't matter.
Not that many, but yeah. Yeah, okay, something like that. Great.
Yeah, this is me trying to integrate horses and humans.
Okay.
So that I get a fix on it. Marvelous.
Yeah, and Luki is the one actually is starting to look more and more like Medina the older he's getting, because I knew Medina when she was quite old. She was 18. And now that Luki is getting older, he's 9 now, he's starting to look more and more like her.
And tell me, out of my ignorance, because I'm not that big with horses, what is the general lifespan of a horse then, If Medina was 18, so we've got a good few more years in her.
So I think Arabian horses, they are quite different from all other horses, and I'm very biased. I love Arabian horses, and all the other breeds are like, yeah, whatever. They're the best. They're always a bit different from all the other horse breeds, and they are also the sort of the original horse that every other horse breed is bred from. So Arabian horses live a bit longer than other horses. They can live up to around 40 years old. Whereas I think lots of other breeds, God, what am I saying here? I don't know if I'm lying or not. Most other breeds, I think, are around 30, I want to say. But yeah, Arabians can live longer, yes. And fun fact, they have one less rib than other horse breeds, and their bone density is higher than all the other horse breeds. So they can bear more weight than other horses.
Didn't know that. Yeah. The sport of kings. It takes you back to America. Okay. You feel like a Red Indian riding bareback. But anyway.
Yes, when people get on your horses, Jeff just mentioned about riding bareback. Is that, you don't saddle them up or anything, do you?
No, so my horses aren't ridden. So they're not started under saddle, and we don't sit on them. So this is all work from the ground. Yeah, mainly, again, there are exercises we can do, to help with confidence, to help someone experience what it feels like to put up a boundary, for example. So we can use the horses for that sort of stuff to let someone experience, if someone is quite, shy or had trauma and needs to sort of learn to set boundaries, just to let their body experience that, we can use the horses and sort of tell them like, stop, like move away or something. And that's very empowering. But my focus, I want to focus really on being with the horse, not the doing, not the whole, I want to experience this. I want the horse, like, yes, that is nice. And yes, that can happen, first session, second session and stuff. Ultimately, we want to mirror the horse's presence. We want to be one with them, with the environment, to step out of the noise and really just come back to the present moment. And that is the most intense connection. When you get to that point where the horse is just standing there and meditating with you, it's the most intense connection.
And do you ever experience regenerative movements with them?
Explain. What do you mean?
Well, movements that are involuntary. For instance, if someone were ill, for instance, and they've got a fever, and the fever burns off all the toxins on the inside, and then after that there would be shaking, which is like a regenerative movement because all the rubbish is gone. And I'm just kind of extrapolating and wanting to know whether or not horses experience regenerative movements, or they instigate regenerative movements with the people around them.
So I don't know if that's the same thing of what you're talking about. What happens with the horses is when their nervous system sort of switches into survival, they clench their jaw, their breath becomes shallow. They do, like everything tenses up. When they come back into the parasympathetic state, into the, rest and digest, they do their eyes blink. They start chewing. They start yawning. They have the whole release. They do the whole like thing and sort of let down. Is that what you're talking about? Is that part of it? That's like they have those sort of.
I don't know, but it's interesting that you describe the activities of what the horses are doing. And it's not dissimilar to humans when they all shallow breathing, and all right, maybe they don't do the blinking of eyes that you'd notice so much, but very interesting, similar behaviors that that it seems to me you're describing.
Yes, yeah. I've had shaking when I have come out of, the tense state, sort of. But we also, I've done breathing with one, she's a friend more than a client. So we did a breathing exercise after hanging out with the horses, and she had this urge to just shake. But where it wasn't it wasn't involuntary. It was like, I have to shake. And we were just standing there, just like shaking, like going like, like crazy. And it was the most amazing feeling. It was such a release. And then we were just laughing, and it was such a like, oh, this was it's exactly what the body needs to heal, to let go of all the tension and this trauma. And sort of stuff.
I want to liken that to if you go out for a walk with the dogs, and the dogs jump into a cold water, a stream or a pond or something like that, and the moment they get out, they'll shake like crazy, and they'll shake off all the cold water. Whereas, and that's a natural response to having experienced a sharp difference between daytime temperature and the temperature in the stream or the water. So they naturally shake it all off.
Yes, you can.
Whereas
you can see that in ducks as well, for example, like when ducks fight, right? So they're fighting and they're doing all their thing, and one maybe has to fly off. Then when they're done, they do the whole, the whole shake, and then they're good again. It's almost like the nervous system just finishes off, release the tension, and we're good again. Whereas we don't do that, right?
I was going to say, it's not,
we don't shake, we don't run, we don't, do whatever we have to do to survive a danger, because there is no real danger, right? We're in this constant state of stress. So it's all stays in our body, and that's what's making us sick.
Okay, time to breathe again. Time to just let's hang out.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's going to be part of the go-to program for the girls' workshops, mate.
What, jumping into a pond?
No. Oh,
shaking.
Tell me.
Doing the shake, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, do the shake. Do the shake. Yeah. So they may be Arabians, but we'll bring the shake in there as well. Very good. It's a nice idea. And do you have any other ideas as to where, you described your vision very beautifully about men's circles and women's circles, or for men horses and women horses. Do you see them relatively close to each other? Geographically, I mean.
Oh, yes. Do you mean where this would be facilitated, or?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Same space. Yeah, definitely same space. And there would also obviously be, times where we mix and we really are just, one. I think where I separate them is really just about, to have that women's circle where we can speak openly, vulnerably, and really just show what's going on, where we can really be vulnerable and just blurt it all out. And I think men need the same thing. I don't think a man will really open up and be vulnerable if there are women around the way they would if it was just men. Do you know what I mean? So I think that has its place. But then, of course, there's also, the space, the time for, men and women to come together and share, especially if it's like something about self-inquiry then rather than expression. Self-inquiry is, we're all the same, so we can all do that together.
Yeah. And tell me, how big is the place where you're at? I'm just kind of trying to envisage it in my own mind. And how much space does a horse need? Yeah.
Okay, so well, where I lived with my horses, we were on 5 acres. right now where they are, where I have them adjusted in Carbrook, it's over 40 acres. It's massive, the property.
Ooh,
Yeah.
right.
And yeah, my horses have their own paddock. It's quite large. It's a good size. But yes, for this vision, I'm seeing a different space. I would love to have them with me and to be able to, you know, design the space, because right now I don't have a shelter. So if it rains, then everything's canceled. So that's something that I need to, it's something I need to think about. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Okay, so if there's a couple of man horses out there that are sensing that they might like to come and join you in this venture, you'd be open to it, would you?
Yes, definitely. If anyone feels drawn to this, if anyone resonates to anything I'm saying here, I would love to hear from them. I'd love to collaborate. Definitely. This is not a one-woman show.
Okay. And it did sound to me when you were describing things that we need to know ourselves before we can offer to everybody else.
I think so.
The tribal business you talked about, or not business, but the tribal connection. But when you know yourself individually, who you are and what you want, where you're going, then you can become more of a community. So it sounds to me like you're on the cusp. You're on the verge of breaking through. I don't know.
I hope so. Yeah, I think so. I think I feel like there are different sort of levels of consciousness, or different levels, different planes of existence, maybe I can say. The plane of, you know, where I'm this physical body, I'm this human, you know, I'm a woman, and, you know, I have dark hair, and, you know, this is where I live. If that's who you are, if that's as far as you go, then sort of that's the level that you need to reach that person, right? So you have to address them on that level. If you're on this plane of existence where you are, you know, you are consciousness, for example, and you are you're having the experience of life, from there, you can help people on every level, on the human level, the soul level, the consciousness level, to help them, you know, to reach them sort of in a way where you're basically not helping, you are holding space, right? You can understand where they are, and you hold space for them to discover themselves, to, you know, inquire enough to have that space without judgment, without someone pulling them back to, yes, you are this, and yes, this happened to you. Do you know what I mean? Like keeping them stuck in the story of their mind, but where you can sort of allow them to sort of almost spin out, you know, until the momentum is gone enough that they're quiet. And now maybe now is that space. I can step out of that story. I can step out of that mind that's holding me down, because no one else is sort of pulling me into that. You know, if you're talking to someone who thinks like, no, I'm this person and I deserve better and this has to be like this, you're sort of keeping each other down there, right? If there's no space to calm down, quiet down, and then sort of go like, wait a second, you know, what else is going on?
So it is the delusion, the dissolving of the mask in all sorts of different ways, and giving yourself permission to dream and to be something that you haven't been previously. Dream a new dream.
Yeah.
Live a new dream.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So on a consciousness level, we could ask the horses to go and find themselves a couple of playmates, and would they like to come along, and we'll find a new playground for for everyone to join in together. How does that sound?
What, for my horses to have new playmates?
Yeah, playmates, play dates, whatever.
Yeah. Look, if they're Arabians, sure.
Okay. Prerequisite. You have to be Arabian, not any old horse. Just get the Arabians to talk to the Arabians.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So I think we can.
I love all the horses, but
yeah, no more stud farming.
Yeah. I always say I'm a horse racist.
Very good, very good, but with good reason, because it's the Arabians that are the authentic, the originals.
It's just my history.
Okay, very good. And so, Jeff, is there anything more you want to say about your day when you were there? Because I'd like to bring you in to elaborate on what Judy's been talking about.
Man circles, a festival. It takes about. We did one for some time, and I have to say it took about 9 months on a regular weekly basis before males started to get in touch and talk about what's actually going on them personally.
Yeah, I can believe that. Yeah, and I think a lot of women would probably take a while as well. That's why this isn't that's the one thing I feel like is sort of gets in the way of therapy or the coaching, the one-on-one, because it's only an hour, it's very expensive, and it happens sporadically. And I think what we need to really, fast track this or really integrate it into our life, where it's not just this like, oh, once a week, once a fortnight, once a month, I go for an hour and I spew my guts as fast as I can, and then I go back to my life. But where it really becomes a part of your life. So it would be a space where you go to, multiple times a week if you want to, where you have the opportunity to really just go to feel safe. And, if it takes 9 months, that's okay, because you've got your whole life. This isn't something you open up and then you're done, or, this is something that gets better and better and better, right?
Well, I remember the first night, there was 28 fellas there. It all opened up, and you got to say, oh my God, it was like you just lived 28 different lives. And none of them really got to reach their potential because of pregnancy, marriage, divorce. There was a lot of hurt, a lot of anger in there. They were just treated as a doormat and treated as like an ATM machine. It took it took a few guys to actually say, look, I'm really feeling pretty crook, I think I've had a heart attack, or I've been in and out, broken clavicles, sport injuries and stuff like that. So boys could see a way to start talking openly. I mean, if you go to building sites and construction where there's a lot of men don't really open up. They just say, yeah, it's all, yeah, what are you thinking, mate? Yeah, get a life, man up. So it's really short phrases that are said, just male speak. So whilst the male might be short in the speech, it's actually the body language and the eye contact that actually tells, where you're at. So, there's a bit of that alpha male domination. You've got to find out, which tribe you're going to be joining in that building site, the job site, It's interesting, different kettle of fish, Females are growing up where they've got the children and they've gone to, kindergarten or play groups or something, and they go to school and they meet other females there who've got kids, and they start sharing and networking and saying, Judy, can you look after Priti? I've got to take buddy Jeff to the dentist. Yeah, rightio. So they start building their networks pretty quick. Well, they have to. And as most mothers know they look after their sons because some other woman's going to snatch him and take him away from the nest and take him back to her nest where her mum is. So most females are aware that they're going to lose their son to another woman and her mother. So it's really interesting paradox that takes place in life, in the relationship game. So sometimes you have to look at the animal kingdom and see what represents the human kingdom. Anyway, but it took a long time for the blokes to really open up. But anyway, it is what it is. Yeah, I think it was just a wonderful experience. Priti. I think if I went there every week, if I went there every weekend, I'd find it become a chore. You know, you'd really have to really open up and really take it on board. I mean, within the surf club, it was like every weekend for the whole summer season, for the whole 7 years, and it was just like you're going away to a summer camp with all the boys. I mean, our network with the boys is really strong today. It's we're now going to funerals, which is unfortunate, but we go twice a year to play barefoot bowls. Our network is really, really strong. It was because we Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. We're just an extension of our families. So, but in the football season, it was just training nights, and of course, you play the game, and then you have drinks and a meal afterwards. And then you're released and let go. The surf club is a whole different formality. Scouts was a whole different formality as well. When you go to Cubs and then you go to Scouts, it'd be like brownies and Girl Guides, and then you go to the camps. But I was in the Sea Scouts, so not only did we go camping, we had regattas to go to and sailing. So we had a pretty busy, hectic lifestyle. So and an outdoor lifestyle. So it engendered you to get off your bum and have a go. We only just talked about it today, about the fact that we grew up where we went off and got a school holiday job to earn some money, and got jobs delivering the local newspaper, and got a job at the chemist, dropping off the prescriptions and so forth. So and in the Scouts there, we'd go knocking on doors, bob for job or bloody bottle collection. So we got used to actually, being knocking on doors, and we actually become self-sufficient because our community required communities come together in order to facilitate as a community. So to get the funds to build a clubhouse or get funds to buy a yacht for the Scouts, or even if it was Mum, when she was in all the different roles that she played, raising funds for the plunket or the kindergarten or for the school. I mean, you didn't have the handouts like you get now in our traditional government role. Now you come to a job site, it's got all the temporary fencing up there, and then you have to get a blue card, a gold card, a yellow card, so that you can't get on the site unless you've got these bloody permits and you've gone past all these things that you can actually work with children. It's got to the time and place that people haven't learned how to bloody work and build community. So everything that Judy's talking about was a pre-existing thing that's taken place, but in the last 50 years, it's been eroded by council saying, well, government instrumentality saying you need a permit for that, or it's just snowballed and red tape to the point you just say, don't bother, don't worry about it. You go down.
Not worth the effort.
You go down, mate. You go down in England there. You go down High Street. You don't see the shops that you normally see. You just see charity shops because the council rates and all that stuff has just driven out anybody who wants to run a shop in Main Street, High Street.
And an awful lot of online shopping has taken over. And the drawbacks of all of that is you physically can't see things. And then when they turn up and they're not what you think they are, it's a huge, elaborate process just to put the things back. And if you'd seen it in the first place, you wouldn't have even bought it.
Yeah, it's quite tangible. I mean, I had some friends that passed away now because we're of maturity, but they had a shop in the centre of Brisbane, and it was called the Ferry. Oh, everybody knew it as a ferry shop. And it was the place to go to for every mum and grandmother to take their granddaughters or the children to go and get fairies. Now, fairy costumes. I mean, everything associated with the fairy kingdom was in that shop. There's wall-to-wall stuff. Yep. And Jan told me, like they had to open 7 days a week, of which 4 days was just to pay the rent at that place. The 5th day was actually to pay for the bloody their own wages, for their own salary. 6 days was for getting stock to replace stock, purchase stock, and the 7th day was really the only day they actually made some income. Yeah. Now it got to the point that Jan decided that she would put some of that stock on bloody eBay, and they were selling stuff on eBay and getting a higher return than they were by having a store in the centre of town. And so when their lease came up, they said, we're out of here. And the store owners got to the centre managers and said, whatever you do, reduce their rent. Make it to the point, it's only here for 2 days a week. Do whatever you can to get them here, because they're the major attraction. They're the only attraction that gets people in the doors. Yeah. If you don't have them, we're dead. The whole shopping centre is dead. And Jan said, they never come to the party. So, we did all our business through eBay, and we made more money, and we had a lifestyle that was comparable to, all the knowledge that we had. So yeah, having a high street store comes with its own cost, because if you're in a local town or village or something, you can walk there, but and you're limited to the amount of income by the basis of how many people live in your village, so it reduces what type of store you can have in your high street. Of course, then along comes Asda, which is Walmart, and then you get Tesco's and Sainsbury and those other big shopping centres who put car parking in there. And before you know it, I was at Swansea on a Sunday night about 1 o'clock in the morning. There's Swansea, Tesco's, 24/7, large as life. And the staff are filling up shelves, and they're on roller skates. So that's huge store, massive. Really interesting. I don't know. How did we get on that subject? What did you ask me? Sorry.
I don't know. I was. I'm now that you've said what you said, I want to know what happened to the.
We asked about male
shopping
circles.
centre. Yeah, male circles and opening up, and it takes 9 months, which is very interesting gestation period to get people to open up. Yeah. So what happened to the fairies when the fairy shop closed? Did the centre itself, as the main attraction, what happened there? Did it come to pass that they all closed up as well?
They had a Harvey Norman store in there, but I haven't been in the city there for a while. I don't even know if that whole building it's because it's only like 3 stories. So I wouldn't be surprised if that building's been pulled down now and something else has gone in place. But I stand corrected. Yeah, because it haven't been a while since I've been in Queen Street Mall.
And the moral and the lesson of the story is to have a little magic in your life and let the fairies do what they've got to do. So
you know what Jan told me? You know what she said? We should have put turnstiles on the entrance into our store where people put in, $2, put $5 to come into the store.
And that would have saved them.
Yeah, plus the fact that little kids, what's I going to say? They borrow things and forget to bring them back.
Well, they're in the land of fairies. There's no such thing as money in the fairyland. Come on, it's fairies. It's elemental. So bringing the elementals back to Judy and the Arabian horses, what can we do over there to make it all happen? Men's circle, women's circle. We can ask in the greater scheme of things, in the consciousness we get hold of, because I'm told that the necks of horses are so long because they're like an antenna to the astral realms and the fairy realm.
Really?
Does that sound about right to you, Judy?
They got a mane. So you have a look at Judy. She's got a mane. So we've heard about
she's
having long hair because it becomes the transmitter and receiver, a bit like the Navajo Indians, and Samson getting his hair cut. So it says a lot to what you're saying there, Priti.
Well, I'd love to see your dream come true.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is that not only is it not just an idea, but it's something that it comes from deep within. It comes from your childhood experiences, that gorgeous connection when everything else all around you was just dire and awful, and all you wanted to do was cry your way back into existence. And if that's the way to do it, let's just all do it. Let's just do it and stop doing and just, I'm all for being.
Yes. Yeah.
I remember when I was soon after I retired, or soonish after I retired, a friend that I worked with, he asked me, "What are you doing these days?" And I looked at him, I said, "Oh, I'm just being. That's it." And him and his wife, they both belong to Mensa. Very high up on the scales when it comes to IQ. And he looked and really profoundly just took an awful lot of time to take it in. And he said, "That's so good." Yeah. B. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it was this astonishing moment. And this is probably 30 years ago now.
Oh, wow.
So I wasn't doing anything. I had to learn to be.
Yes.
This is true.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because being is the most natural thing in the world. We don't have to learn it. We just have to unlearn all the doing.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. I always say it's the easiest and the hardest thing at the same time. The most natural thing, but everyone struggles so much with it.
Okay.
Right,
so, my dear, do we have anything more to ask you about dreaming your dream? Other than just let's have a good night's sleep, and first thing in the morning is back there. Tell me.
Me?
Yes.
What more questions? What?
No.
Basically going to ask you she's going to basically say to you, is there a question that we should have asked you that we haven't asked you?
Oh, that you should have asked.
Thank
you. No, I think I've covered what I've wanted to cover. Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah, excellent. And I do think your being is the most natural way to be. Thank you very much. And let's all of us, each and every one of us, have a very nice being day, being night, being week. And we'll see you next week, Jeff from UK. Thank you very, very much. You brought a smile to my face. It's just jolly good. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Thanks.
We are dreaming the new dream, transforming reality and bringing into creation the world we want to see. people are dreaming the new dream, following their heart's desire, being the change